We're live. Can you hear me? Is anyone here? No one's here. Whatever. We're here. We're live, and we're making biscuits. That's just some people. We don't have anything in there yet. However, before we start biscuits, we're gonna do something else real quick, which is we're making bacon. Bacon. And instead of doing it the normal way, or I don't know what the normal way would be, but instead of doing it in a pan, we are doing it in a pan. We're just doing it in the oven and not stovetop, because I'm also focusing on making biscuits. So we're gonna line our pan with bacon, and I can show you the fruits of our efforts in a bit after this, after I line the pan. For what we're doing, we don't actually need more than like one slice of bacon. However, no one's going to complain about having bacon, right? Right? Like everybody loves bacon. So that's what we're doing right now. And forgive me if I have to mute and do something. I am doing this in the kitchen, obviously, but my cats are also here, so they're gonna come up and try and ruin shit. So that's what we're doing. So that's what I'm gonna have to do, maybe, probably at some point, because that's how cats are. They like ruining shit. So once again, just laying out bacon. I might have to get a second pan out actually, because this pan is almost full. Yeah, I probably will. But anyways, I might not actually. If I just really consolidate space, I should be fine. But this bacon is for our special surprise, if you read the title. Well, at least one slice is. The other slice is for, no, bacon, I'm eating bacon. But, just making bacon for making bacon is never bad, right? Unless you don't have bacon. Then, yeah, it might be bad to make bacon if you don't have bacon. But I do have bacon. I'm saying bacon a lot. Anyways, we're just lining the pan to get it ready. It should be good at things. I think it'll be fine. And if not, then I will have to cook the rest of this on a pan, because I'm not going to get another. I'm going to have to cook the rest of this on the stove, because I'm not going to get another pan out for 2 pieces of bacon. So for now, that's going to sit in the sink while I do everything else. Anyways, We have bacon. It is bacon on the pan. And now we're just going to chuck that in the oven for, I think it said 15 to 20 minutes. So, okay, Google, start a timer for 15 minutes.
Sure, 15 minutes.
There we go.
Starting now.
Now, on to biscuits. Give me just a second to get my recipe up. There we go. So, biscuits. Biscuits are, I want to say real easy. So that's what I'm saying. They're real easy. There. I just gotta get everything out of the flour so we can start with the flour. Anyways, if you are curious about this recipe, I have it down in the description below. But also, you can just listen to me. But I might not be the best narrator and telling you what to do. But we have biscuits. We're making biscuits. Biscuits are rad. Anyways, half a cup of flour, and then another full cup of flour. Probably can't see that. It's probably real blown out, being white on light with a lot of light in the with whatever's lighting me. Anyways, we're just making biscuits right now. We gotta get all the flour leveled out and done, right? So there we go. 1.5 cups of flour. Next, 3/4. Half? No, it's on under for whatever reason. There we go. A 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And normally I wouldn't measure this out, but when you're baking, you should measure things out. If you're just cooking, then all seasonings are just to taste. But baking is very specific. Baking is closer to a science than cooking, I suppose. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of just talking out of my ass right now. That's what I'm doing, talking out of my ass. Next is 1.5, or no, not 1.5, just a half cup of cake flour. And frankly, I don't have cake flour because I don't need it all that often. I don't make biscuits a ton. Unfortunately, they're great. I would love to make biscuits more. However, also, you can just replace cake flour for, if you're doing 1 cup of cake flour, mind you, we're only doing half a cup. 1 cup of cake flour, you then take a tablespoon out of it, and then add that remaining tablespoon that you just took out with cornstarch. That's in a bag, but more flour. Just gotta shake this down, make it so it's not climbing up the edges. There we go. We are done with flour for the most part. So we're gonna just put those back in there and cover it back up. But that's all the flour we needed. Next, the cornstarch. Since we were doing a half cup of cake flour, we just need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. one tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's that. And we're done with cornstarch and salt. I didn't say salt, but we are done with salt. Or I didn't say we're done with salt. I did say you needed salt. But there we go. Cornstarch is done. Salt is done. I need just a drink of water. Next, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, which is really just a tablespoon and a teaspoon. That's what I'm going to do. Is that baking powder? Yeah, baking powder. This is powder. All right. There we go. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And there's baking powder, done with. Next is baking soda, and we need a quarter. Ooh, that's bad. I didn't write it down. I'm going to say a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, right? Mainly because I don't have a quarter tablespoon measure. So, quarter teaspoon of baking soda. Quarter teaspoon. Yeah, baking soda is done. And generally what you do when cooking is you do what's called mise en place, which is just getting everything ready. I am still technically doing that because I'm going to be measuring out our buttermilk into something different before I get started on everything else. However, the first step of this recipe is to just put all the dry ingredients, i.e. your flour, salt, cake flour, baking powder, baking soda, into a bowl. So that's what I did. I just put it all into a bowl. We also need butter and shortening for this recipe. So that's what we're doing next. Butter and shortening. 2 tablespoons of both. So shortening, I'm just going to use this knife because it's there and it works. 2 tablespoons of shortening. So after combining all this, it just says to put in that. So instead of, there we go, it's combined. So now I can just put in the shortening, and there we go. That's that. And then do the same thing with the butter. We just put the shortening back and butter. There we go. And got to go back and refrigerate the butter and throw away the trash. So there's that stuff. All of our dry ingredients and butter substitutes are in the bowl, which is what it calls for. Next, we just need to measure out the buttermilk. This recipe calls for 1 cup of buttermilk. So just take that, pour in your buttermilk, and then we're not going to use that yet, but we're going to mise en place, get everything ready first. And then put your buttermilk back in. So there we go. There's our mise en place. Real easy, real simple. Should wash this knife first, actually, before we do anything else. So wash, dry the knife, make sure it's all good, all done. Real easy, real simple. Done. So after that, after you get your mise en place, you get steps 1 and 2 done, which are just put in the dry ingredients, put in the shortening and butter. You then take your pastry blender right here. This is a bad pastry blender because it's all made of wires, so it moves around really easily. But then you just cut in, cut in, whatever you want to say. Technically, it's cut in if you look directly at the recipe. Cut in your sugar, or no, your butter and your shortening. But it calls for cold butter, and this is a wire pastry blender, so it really has a hard time getting through the butter. Shortening is easy because shortening is very soft naturally. However, the butter is more of a pain in the ass because it's real hard when it's cold. But you basically just want to keep putting in your flour and your butter. And you keep doing that until it's at a crumb-like texture, is what the recipe says. So I'm not completely sure what that means because, frankly, the dry ingredients themselves look fairly crumb-like, but not the point. It's just you gotta keep pushing them in. Make sure you got all your butter in the bowl. Anyway. Oh, I missed a couple steps. That's really bad. I kind of remember what it says. However, I'm going to have to go do something real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with, after I find somewhere to put the pastry blender, right there. I'm going to leave you with a little coming back screen, just so I'll be right back. And I'm back. Yep, there we go. I'm back. When I was writing down this recipe in my recipe book, I didn't add everything, so I need my paper recipe. So that's what we're using now. There we go. Paper recipe, right there. Yeah. Actually, there's something else I need to do just real quick. Just got to clean up the mess I made. Because you always have to do that. You have to clean up the messes you make when you cook. But there we go. Yeah. All right. Our dough doesn't, or our ingredients don't seem to be quite bread crumb-like yet. So just got to keep crushing those in. Stop. All right. And now our bacon seems to be done, which is cool, especially since we just need to let that cool until we start what we need the bacon for. Let's see. Our bacon is not quite done yet. We're just going to let it rest in there a bit. I'd say like 3-ish more minutes. I'll check on it again when I get our dough, our pre-dough looking good. When we get that, when we get that done, I will finish that off. Anyhow, not much is going on. Just kind of going in, cutting things up, getting things ready. Even then, I don't have anything going on in real life either. But that's not the point. The point here today is to make biscuits. Because biscuits are awesome and cool, and everyone loves biscuits, right? Everyone loves biscuits. There we go. It's going to be easier for me to pick you up instead of pick that up. There we go. There's our crummy looking dough. Not crummy as in bad, but crummy as in little bits of crumbs, right? I'll make that up just a bit more. Yeah. Just like maybe another minute-ish. Yeah. Just gonna let that go for a bit. All right. So there we go. There is our crumb. Now we get bacon out. It should be good now, right? Yeah, it's fine. All right. There we go. Bacon's done. I'll pick you up again. Anyways, there's bacon. Maybe not the best it could be. Maybe I could let it in there for a little longer. Actually, yeah. I'll put it in for a little longer while also increasing the temp to get ready for our biscuits. Because the bacon's at 400, but the biscuits need to be at 425. So I'll throw the bacon in, let it get a bit better, a bit darker, a bit crunchier, and also go up to 425. Keep messing up here. There we go. 425. That's what we need the oven to be at for our biscuits. Now, after you get all your dough, your ingredients crumb-like, you make a little hole in the center. It doesn't have to reach the bottom, but it should just be an indent. It should be smaller in the middle than it is on the outside. And then you take your buttermilk and just pour it in, right? There we go. There is our buttermilk. We are done with ingredients for, we are done with ingredients. We're done with ingredients for our biscuit. Now, we're just going to use a fork and kind of mix it together like you would spaghetti or pasta, if you've made pasta before. But you just put it in the middle, drag the insides in, and just kind of stir it together almost until it gets sticky, until it comes together. That's what it says. So you want to make sure to get all the flour all up in there. All the flour, the other mixture, the other stuff, the butter, everything else, everything from your mix in the start, you want to get all of that integrated into the batter, the dough. All right, and at some point, your fork is going to stop being enough for what you need to do, in which case you then use your hands. And make sure you've washed your hands, you dirty, filthy animals. I don't know who you are. You could be perfectly fine. You could wash your hands like every time you do anything. I don't know. I am going to rewash my hands because, you know, it's really hot and then wiping sweat off. So we're just doing that. That's our oven. Our oven's at 425. I think we're going to let those stay in there for a bit longer. Maybe. How's it looking? Yeah, just a bit longer. We're going to let them stay in there. We will get them out at noon or when we finish the dough, whichever one comes first. But we then just start getting everything into the dough. And I've actually forgotten an important step for me, and I forgot an important step to tell you and an important step for me to do. So we're just going to try and get all this dough off ourselves real quick because we forgot to flour our hands so they don't stick as much, which is really going to help when you're working with a sticky dough, right? There we go. Hands are all washed off. Got all the dough off of them. Yeah. Give me just a second while I dry my hands off. There we go. Now, you just take your hands, put some flour on it, rub it in, make sure you get your hands coated so they don't stick, right? And then just keep integrating the flour, baking salt, butter mix. Just keep integrating it into your dough. So you just got to keep doing that. Keep just getting it in. Just keep folding it over, folding it in on top of itself to get just everything all worked in there. And you don't technically need everything, you just need most of it. So just get most of it worked into your dough. But we're done with the dough, so we're just gonna wash our hands off again, just to make sure we don't have any dough on while we do other things. It's not going to take long for us to get more dough on our hands, but it's noon and we finished our dough for the most part, kind of. So now take out the bacon because it's done now. There we go. It is a bit crispy. I probably should have taken it out sooner, but I was working on the dough, so you're gonna have to forgive me for that. You people who will not be having my biscuits. But that's our dough. It's all good. It's all packed up in there. And now we need to do the same thing again, but outside of the bowl, right? Do the same thing again, but out here where, sorry, just let me unbutton this. It's very hot standing next to a 425-degree oven. Let me just unbutton this real quick. There we go. It's not going to do a ton, but it'll make me feel cooler, maybe, you know, whatever that effect is, that it makes you feel things that you don't actually feel. But now, once again, we need to do the same thing with this that we just did, but on a table. And make sure you've cleaned your table off, right? Just take a sponge. You don't have to get anything on it other than like water. Get some water, squeeze it off, and just keep wipe it down, and then dry it off. There we go. Nice clean surface. This is the best angle. This hurts to be down more. Yeah, that works. Yeah. So now, I don't know why I swapped it. It did nothing. We're just gonna let our bacon cool over there. We're gonna take about a tablespoon of flour, sprinkle it over your counter, wipe it down, make sure it's kind of just like all over your counter, right? Make sure you get it everywhere there. Get it and on your hands. You want to flour your hands so they don't stick. Then take it off, take it out of your bowl, and then do this. And then move this actually into here. And after you do that, after you get your dough out, you're going to want to fill your bowl with water so it's easier to wash, right? Because if you don't, then all the dough that's left in there is going to stick to the bowl and stick to the sides of the bowl, and it's going to get real hard to wash because it's all going to be like rock hard and shit. You're just going to keep flipping the dough, folding it over on itself, sprinkle a bit of flour on top, right, to make sure it sticks less, and coat your hands in flour while you're at it, right? You're just going to keep doing this, and you're going to fold it over on itself like 6, 7, 5, 6, 7 times. Like that. Keep pushing it out so you can fold it over more, right? And then after you push it out, fold it back over. And again, just keep doing that like 5, 6, 7 times. If you need to, once again, just take a bit of flour, sprinkle it on top to make sure it doesn't stick, rub it in with both hands to make sure your hands don't stick, and then just keep folding it over on top of itself, getting yourself like just a ton of folds into it. Because when you fold it, it gets layers, and the layers make it more airy and good, right? So you do that. Mine probably been folded over enough times. And now just go sprinkle on a bit more flour to keep it from getting sticky once again, because it's going to just incorporate the flour into itself and thus keep itself sticky. Yeah. And you're just going to want to push it down, stretch it out, make it like just about an inch thick, right? There, that's probably good. Just a second while I clean this off pretty easily. Just clean this off. real quick. Doesn't take much. You don't even have to turn the water on. You can just like rub your hands together to just rub the dough off. And then you're going to want to take a cutter about a 2 inches in diameter, right? In diameter. Yeah, 2 inches in diameter. And just cut out yourself some biscuits. Cut them out. And just place them on your tray. And do this until you have no space left on your dough, right? Doing that. Here we go. Second biscuit. Keep doing that. Cut it out. Place it on your tray. And you just, once again, just gotta keep doing this until you run out of places to cut. But even then, after you run out of places to cut, you'll realize, oh shit, I still have like all this dough left over. So what you're gonna do then is you're just gonna take it and fold it all back up, right? Get it all back together. And then, once again, just push it down about an inch wide, or an inch tall, or whatever you want to call it. And then start cutting it out. There we go. And you keep doing that over and over until you completely run out of dough that is big enough to make a biscuit, in which you take that dough and then you make a little ball and then just throw it on the tray. And there you go. You have a last biscuit. All right. It needs more flour because it's all been incorporated and taken out, right? So just sprinkle a bit of flour on there. Keep folding it over on top of itself. Right? There's flour everywhere. So there's dough everywhere. It's not flour. Flour would be the opposite problem. The dough's too sticky right now. The dough does not stick, so we need more flour. So you just get more flour, and you keep putting it on, right? Keep folding your butter or your dough over and over onto itself. Push it back down, 1 inch thick, and cut out another biscuit. There's probably 2 more biscuits I can cut out of this. Maybe. Yeah. About 2 more biscuits, 1 more biscuit now that I can cut out of this. And then here, there's that. We take this, we just kind of roll it into a ball. If you want, you can just throw it in there, keep pushing it down till it reaches the sides. So you get another biscuit around the same size, right? And then there we go. All right. There's our biscuits done and dusted. Well, not dusted. We aren't necessarily dusting them with anything, but they're done. Biscuits. You know, in a bit, I just need to wash my hands again because I got flour and dough stuck all over them. But there we go. We got 11 little biscuits there. You then take this, right? you take your biscuits, just stuff them in the oven. Once again, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, Google, start a timer for 15 minutes.
All right, 15 minutes. Starting now.
Right. And now we are done with the butter or the flour. So we're done with the flour. We're also done with this cutter. So now we're just gonna clean up our space. You could use whatever you want. I have this cool little thing that's meant to scrape stuff off, a little scraper. And I'm just gonna get the trash can so I can put it directly into the trash can. There we go. And you just want to get all across it, even if you don't think there's anything there. Because, like, look, there's not like a ton over there. But if I just run this over, then you see I get like a ton more. There we go. We then put our trash can back, and biscuits are essentially done now. However, while we're waiting for biscuits to be done, we're going to work on our special thing. That I don't remember what I called it. I think I said a special surprise. And our special surprise is a honey. I missed some. It's a honey bacon pecan glaze that we can just put on top. Now, the description currently doesn't have this in it because it's a surprise. And if I just told you what the surprise is, it wouldn't be a surprise. So, after this, I have it ready. I just need to save it. Then, after we finish the stream, I will just put it up, and then we will have our glaze. We will have our glaze recipe. And keep in mind, you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to keep it as is. However, like I haven't tried this specific a honey bacon pecan glaze before. I've done a maple pecan glaze, which was also real good. Worked real good with biscuits. That's not the point. Today we're making honey bacon pecan glaze. So what we have to do first is we have to shred our pecans, right? Otherwise, we're just going to have whole pecans in there, and that's not the best, right? So you just keep on. You don't have to use a food processor. You could use like a knife or something, but food processor is easiest because it just does it automatically. I guess you could also use anything else that does it automatically. You could use your slap chop if you wanted to, but I don't have a slap chop. I have a food processor, so that's what I'm just going to keep using. Just got to make sure it's real small pieces. You don't want any huge pieces. Let's see. Yep. Sorry. There we go. We have our small pieces of pecan. However, what we want to do before that is that we want to toast them. I need a smallish pan. There we go. I'm going to just use this one. Here we go. Small pan. We're just going to pour them into our small pan, right? Make sure they're spread out evenly. Good. Well, then you don't have to do this, but I think it's easier and makes them taste better. You just put a little bit of oil on them. There we go. You have a little bit of oil. And then you just toast them. You need a little, if you do put oil on them, you're going to need a little spatula just to move around the ones that were oiled, right? But after you've done that like once, they're all good and free to like completely move around. But we're just going to let that sit there for the time being. Just let it sit there, cool, or toast. However, while we're doing that, we're going to get started on the rest of the glaze. So this one, is this a new bottle of lemon juice? Yes, it is. I can't get it open. Huh. I just need to, I'm not getting a great grip on it. Fine. We'll just keep going around it with the knife to cut these pieces open. Ow. That's on me. Don't do that. Don't stab yourself. I'm going to go actually find a Band-Aid. I'm going to leave you guys off for just a little bit, but I will be back. And I'm back. I'm back. I have a Band-Aid to close up my boo-boo and make sure I don't get blood all over this, which would be real bad, real unappetizing. There we go. So for this we need 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, or apple cider vinegar is what I use for the maple pecan glaze. For this one, we're using lemon juice. We just need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1, 2. There we go. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You're still gonna need this though. Next, after lemon juice, we need 2 tablespoons of sugar. You see what I'm doing? Not kind of, but not really. There. There's our lemon juice. It's in that. We just gotta move around our pecans, make sure they're toasted well and good. Try to smell them. Can't smell them that well with the bacon sitting right beside it. This bacon has a very overpowering smell. Yeah. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of sugar. And while this container does look like the flour container, if you're going to point that out, yeah, it does. Not much I can say there. It just does, right? There we go. There is our sugar. And we're done with sugar and lemon juice. So put the lemon juice real quick. I'm not going to put the sugar back because that'll take too long. Yeah. And then we'll set these off to the side because we're done with them. Those are toasted enough. And now we need to heat the lemon juice up, and lemon juice and sugar, right, up until the sugar dissolves. And we can just keep using this because we're just going to put, because it has pecans on it, and we're just going to put more pecans into this. That's probably too high. Yeah, that's good. So we're just going to keep heating that up. Oh, I forgot to do mise en place for this one. That's on me. That's all on me. Yeah. Yeah, that's one. That one's on me. So basically, that goes off until we finish doing mise en place. Getting shit ready. I'm not sure what it actually translates to. I think I have its translation written down somewhere, but I don't have it with me right now. And I'm not going to leave you guys alone again just to go find it, right? So, right, we need a quarter cup of honey. That's what we're replacing for maple syrup in this recipe. So a quarter cup of honey. All right, there we go. There we go. That is our honey. Next, we need pecans. We have that. Man, I just missed that. Huh. So I guess I could have just done that while I was just cooking. Whatever. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah, but there we go. We're just waiting for our sugar to dissolve here. I should move you guys closer, right? So you can see more and see better. Can you see? You can't really see inside that pot, but that's fine. You don't need to see inside that pot. It would be a pain for me to set it up that way. Now, the sugar is about dissolved here. So what we're going to do is add our honey and hope and pray God that this actually works and fits. Right? So there's that. This is just going to get some water in it once again, just to make sure it comes off easier when I have to wash it. And we're just going to let this maple syrup come to, we're going to let this just come to a boil, right? Yeah. Now there's something else we're going to need later. I'm going to just stir this up just a bit. Oh, and we're also going to want to actually, so yeah, I'm going to move you guys back to where you were before because I need this space for something. And that something is one strip of bacon cut up nice. Let's pick up this one. Yeah, cool enough. There we go. And I'm just going to get the rest of this strip if I can. There we go. That. And then we're just gonna roughly cut this up because it doesn't matter. It just needs to be in smallest piece of stop. That was our timer for our biscuits. Let's see how those are looking. Ooh, those look really good, which means this can move. However, everything else needs to get out of the way. Sorry about this. Just need to move everything so that everything can fit everywhere. There's our bacon off to the side and our biscuits coming out now. Ooh, they're not the best biscuits I've ever seen, but my God, if they aren't going to be delicious. Here, I'll pick you up and show you them. Look at those. Aren't those just maybe not beautiful, but really good looking? Yeah. Anyways, ooh, that's a boil. What's great about this though is that we just lower the heat and simmer it for just a couple of minutes, right? Time is it 27? So yeah, at like 29 or 30, we'll go over there and do the rest of everything. However, right now we're just cutting up our bacon, making sure it's all good. A couple of these pieces are going to be really small, but that's the price you have to pay when you do this. Yeah. But just going to wash off our knife again. And drop. You don't have to do this with every knife, but these are my good knives. So I'm just going to keep, so I want to keep them nice and good. Let's see. And now, once again, I can move you back over in just a bit after I just clear my workspace. If you're wondering what I was doing, I was just adding the bacon to the pecans so that they're all together in one place. There. While we wait, just going to put the shortening away. There we go. Shortening is put away. And now it's been long enough. We can remove that from heat. Add in our pecans and bacon. Everything there. Right? Just stir them in a bit. Make sure they get all good. Right? And then we are also adding, oops, didn't mean to take that off. We're adding just a little bit of white pepper and salt. Why? Because that's what the recipe says. But we're not adding a ton. We're just adding a bit to counterbalance how dreadfully sweet this is going to be. Because this has just so much in it, and we're just now waiting for this to thicken up. But while we're waiting, actually those are still very hot. So we're gonna wait for this to thicken up and these to cool down. And I'm just gonna move this over to here in the pit. And while we're waiting, I suppose I'm going to be putting everything back away. All right. And now I have to go around the corner for these and a couple other things, but I'll be back. Promise. And then sugar and flour, and then I'll be back. Let's see. Well, it's still very thin. So we're just going to wait for that. And now, while we're waiting, I suppose I could just wash dishes, since dishes need to be washed for, you know, because my sink's like full. See, it's like completely full. I need to wash it all out. But yeah, so I think that is what I will do right now. We will wash dishes while we wait for everything to cool down. And by we, I mean me. No one else is here right now. This isn't a fan. It's just like plates that need to be put away, but someone else will put away those plates. And someone else will put away all the dishes. I just need to wash them. Right, because it's my week to wash dishes. And it's also my mess that I'm making for no one's purpose, right? Like, no one else is home right now. It's just me. So I'm just gonna stack everything off to the side or put it away if it doesn't take too long to put away. Like this spatula, it goes like right behind you. So that's where that goes. These chopsticks go like right next to the sink. So that's just, I'll just put those there. Yeah, but you know, like the big things or the other things that aren't like super close, or I just don't want to put away, like this rice paddle. That's just gonna sit there. Are you having fun? Whoever's watching this, whoever's watching it now. I also don't have a great lighting source. I'm relying solely on my kitchen light. So that's why I keep fading in and out of darkness. But you know, it's the price you have to pay sometimes when you do this. When you're such a good streamer with 0 viewers, right? Sometimes you just gotta pay for using kitchen lighting and natural lighting as opposed to like one of those ring lights. You know, I'm not telling you to like do anything about that, but you know, I'm just making a statement of fact. Actually, I can't really wash dishes right now, can I? So I guess we're just waiting without doing anything. I don't know. Let's see, how thick is our glaze? It's getting there. It's getting there, Dad. But it's not quite there yet. Are our biscuits cool enough? They're pretty cool. So maybe I show you like the inside of our biscuits, because our biscuits are gonna be fucking like banging good. They're gonna be, our biscuits are gonna be so good, like you don't even know how good our biscuits are. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. You probably can't tell, but that's a good biscuit. And now I'm just waiting for this to cool off and glaze up so I can throw some glaze. Actually, I can probably throw some glaze on it right now. It doesn't have to be completely thick. It's better if it's just better if it's thick. Drop the spoon. Just gonna clean it up. You know, it was on the floor, and that's gross. I didn't have to deal with my cat at all. That's pretty cool. They didn't come over here and try and steal some bacon. Pretty awesome. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. There has to be a better way to show you them to like almost drop my food. Look at that. Look at those. Those look so good. They look so good. Let's see. How good are they? You could probably do without the bacon. So I think I'm gonna, I'll just take the bacon off. Obviously, if you want the bacon, just like add a cut up slice of bacon to your recipe using the recipe I have. But it is very good. I think it would be better without the bacon though. Yeah, real good though. And it being real good probably also has to do with like how good my biscuits are. Because I'm like a killer cook. I'm really good at making biscuits and frankly anything else. You know. After I finish this, when I go like see my Tears of the Kingdom save file, I've been streaming for an hour. I could just end it here, but who knows? I do want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom at some point. I can just like, yeah, I'll just show you after I finish eating this or biscuit. God, I'm such a good fucking cook. And a little bit extra glaze to the top, just to give myself a little extra because I was out of glaze on that one. But I'm so fucking good at this. I'm working my way through 100% on Tears of the Kingdom. I'm doing pretty good. I've defeated all the bosses, all the dungeon bosses, all the mini bosses. I don't know. I'm trying to think what I should do with the bacon to keep the cat from getting into it. Because if I'm not here to defend it, they're going to get it. And not only drop all the bacon on the ground, but drop all the bacon grease on the ground, and that would be just exponentially worse. Actually, here, I'll just, yeah, I can save the food or the recipes now. Yeah. And actually, I think that's good. I think I'm done for now. So I hope you enjoyed being here. I hope you enjoyed watching me cook. I hope you have a good day. Remember to like and subscribe. But other than that, I'm kind of done with everything. So, bye.